yours to mind a silver screen and all its